Welcome to our first appSolute webinar, where we're going to talk about ProDiscoverer and how you can use ProDiscoverer to manage your PASOE deployments. A product that we launched last year, and we are excited about sharing details about how you can manage your PASOE, manage multiple PASOE instances from a single web interface. My name is Thomas Hansen. I'm from appSolutions, and I will be trying to guide this presentation. With me, I also have Arturos, who has been building the ProDiscoverer product and who is going to be doing most of the demonstration that we're doing. Just very briefly, not going to spend a huge amount of time on this, but we've both been around the block with OpenEdge. We've been with OpenEdge, both of us, since 1995, so for a while. I've, over the years, worked a lot with Roundtable and helped people, so a lot of people in the OpenEdge community may know me through working with Roundtable and helping them implement that. Over the past many years, I have, and Arturos has also been working on what we now call DevOps for OpenEdge, both on a management level and on consulting level, which is really about things like containerizing OpenEdge applications, automating stuff. We have a product called Roundtable Automation that helps to automate a lot of things around that and build it in with Jenkins and CI/CD workflows and all those kinds of things. We've done a lot of work ever since containers became a thing. With containerizing OpenEdge applications, both PASOE, but also databases and other things. A lot of focus on enterprise cloud architecture for OpenEdge and helping people migrate to the cloud from their old legacy applications. I have also been involved for many years now in arranging the Pug Challenge and in various ways there. So, Arturos, if you want to briefly introduce yourself, and then we can get started.
Hello, briefly, the mentioned main points. Author of ProDiscoverer tools, working with Progress OpenEdge since '95, and mostly working in OpenEdge container environment and DevOps area with automations and CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins and other tools, and applying into PASOE deployment and configuration. And the ProDiscoverer Control Center was born exactly from these activities to make life easier as a real-world scenario when we have a multiply instances distributed across different hosts. It might be Kubernetes pods, it might be Linux virtual machines, wherever they run. So we have to somehow to have a convenient point of collecting information and being able to manage these instances. So short intro would be that.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, we've been around a bit with the OpenEdge stuff for a long time. appSolutions is also, we've been around for a while, and we provide a number of different services. That's not the focus of this presentation, but so if anybody's interested in knowing more about that, then be sure to reach out. ProDiscoverer is one of the things. Arturos and I work together on this. So appSolutions is going to be helping out with the distribution and sales and or the go-to-market part of ProDiscoverer, and Arturos and his business is focusing on the development of the platform. Come on. So, what is ProDiscoverer? And we're going to dive into a lot more detail on that. But basically, it's a browser-based assistant that allows you to work with your OpenEdge applications and make sure both to be able to monitor and to troubleshoot and to maintain and to do a lot of different things with. And we're going to dive into a lot more detail with that. But essentially, it allows you, once you've got ProDiscoverer set up and configured, to save you a lot of time and money by having one central place where you can access your PAS instances, and you can go in and maintain them without having to log on to individual machines and individual servers and start up, either do stuff from the command line or from the OpenEdge management tools. So with ProDiscoverer, you can monitor, you can automate, you can tune, you can audit, and there's a number of other things you can do also, and we will cover those as part of this session. So who is the audience? Who are the target users for ProDiscoverer? It's actually quite a wide variety of people, and our experience is that it's not just a technical tool, even though there are a lot of technicalities in it. It does actually provide value for many different parts of a typical IT or Progress VAR or Progress end user organization. So not just for developers and PASOE administrators and testers, but it could also be for application administrators. And we're also seeing on a daily basis that we have a lot of consultants who are using consultants who are working with an application with customers where they need to reset PASOE agent sessions or restart agents for various reasons, and we'll get into why you would want to do that. But really, the essence is that it can be used by many different groups of people. What kind of advantages do you get out of a tool like ProDiscoverer? Well, but first of all, the most important thing is really to help you keep your OpenEdge applications healthy, reduce the time and money that you need to spend on maintaining it, make it easier both for developers but also for everybody else in the organization, like I mentioned. Quickly and easily be able to access all your PAS instances, optimize your application performance, and keep an eye on various metrics that are critical for your Progress application. We can also add on top of that automating various things, tuning your application, checking metrics, and seeing whether you need to adjust your application performance. So there's a lot of different things that you get out of the box once you've got ProDiscoverer in place. It works both on Linux and Windows, so whatever platform that you can deploy your PAS instances on, we can work with that because we are just connecting to and working remotely with the PAS instances. The main interface is a web-based tool, and we provide the deployments of the stack that we run on. We deploy that on as part of a Docker container stack. We are looking at other options like Kubernetes in the future, but right now it's Docker and Docker Compose that we deliver it with. It's a nice, fast, easy way of doing it, and that runs on Linux, and we'll talk a bit about that in a bit also. And really helps you to reduce your downtime on stuff. All right, hey Peter, welcome to the show.
Yes.
We decided to get started, so we don't run out of time completely. But good to see you.
That's fine.
You've heard some of the stuff before, so
yeah.
So that's fine. We're just going through the basics and what ProDiscoverer is, and then Arturus is going to jump into more detailed demos in a bit. So some prerequisites for getting started with ProDiscoverer are that because we're delivering the stack in containers and Docker containers, you need to have a Linux environment that you can run it on. We also have a need for OpenEdge licenses for part of the stack. We have a PAS instance that is part of the ProDiscoverer stack, and therefore we need to have OpenEdge licenses, and we don't provide those licenses. That's not part of what we're looking at. So we rely on customers to have their own OpenEdge licenses in place. For PAS, it is a good idea to have production licenses on the instances that we are communicating with, that we are managing. because there are some features that if you're not in a production, using a production license, that are disabled or not, that you cannot use as part of what we're using here. The ProDiscoverer stack, as it is at the moment, needs to have an outgoing internet connection. It doesn't necessarily have to be accessible from the internet, but it does need to be able to go out and query the ProDiscoverer license server. And if we're using Let's Encrypt certificates, then it also needs to be able to go out and get those. There are various ways we can set that up, but that's a more technical thing. The ProDiscoverer PASOE instance itself is configured with a number of web applications, so some WAR files that get installed. We actually manage the ProDiscoverer PASOE instance with ProDiscoverer as part of the stack. It's one of the first instances we set up on an environment. We recommend having the health scanner feature enabled and data collection for that enabled. We support OpenEdge versions 12.2 and 12.8. The stack itself is built with 12.8, but we can manage OpenEdge 12.2 instances as well. A couple of things around the PAS instances that we maintain with ProDiscoverer. We have some prerequisites for that. One of them is that you should have the manager and the OE manager web applications deployed, and that's because we're using the OE manager APIs on the PAS instance to communicate and work with and manage the PAS instances that we control under ProDiscoverer. We also strongly recommend that you have the health scanner enabled, so that you get the most out of all the data that we're collecting and the information we're showing there. It's a good idea to have it set up so that your PAS instances, they need to be accessible through an HTTP or an HTTPS connection. So whether it's internally within your network or whether it is over the internet, that may be the case in some cases, maybe with some IP whitelisting, we do need to have an HTTP or HTTPS connection to the PAS instances that the ProDiscoverer instance needs to communicate with. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the architecture here, but just to very briefly explain that we have on the bottom layer, we have a container stack that runs with that ProDiscoverer consists of a Postgres database where we have some various data that we're collecting and storing, the setup of the ProDiscoverer instance itself, but also health scanner data and metrics and other things that we collect from the PASOE instances that we're working with. We then have the control center portal itself. That's the main interface, that the web application that you work with. We have a Node.js application that does some of the heavy lifting on the back end, and there is also a PAS instance that is running on the back end as well. Natsuros will explain what that is used for later. So this ProDiscoverer stack would be connecting to a series of different hosts like we have up on the top here. It could be an OpenEdge development or test or production environment. It doesn't matter whether it's Windows or Linux. As I mentioned before, you just need to be able to access it with an HTTP connection. And those instances, each of these instances, whether they're on a Windows or Linux host, we can in various ways connect to those and then work with them within the ProDiscoverer UI. And you'll see that in much more detail. So the stack itself is a web portal built with Angular. The application server on the back end is Node.js. We have a PASOE instance that is built with the official Progress Docker image with some web applications deployed to it. We have a proprietary ProDiscoverer WAR file, and then we have the OE Manager WAR file that allows us to access the OE Manager REST APIs. We have a Postgres database, and there is also a PG admin portal that is a container that starts up as part of the stack that allows us to do ad hoc queries and access and do stuff in the database if we need to do that, if there's stuff we need to do outside of what's managed directly in the UI. So things you can do, I'm going to run through very quickly through these, so we don't spend too much time on slides, but look more on what we can do in the as part of the demo. But we have a number of things we can do around agents on the PAS side. So various agent sessions, connections, and so on. We can start agents, stop agents, reset agents, clear agent sessions, and so on. We can access the session manager to do a number of different things here, and we'll cover all of these things around looking at how many active agents we have, how many requests there may be, getting metrics for an application. We can even, from the UI, without having to log on to a server, we can update the properties of your application, the OpenEdge properties, directly from the web interface. Nice, simple, quick, and at runtime. And we can get a number of other things like, for example, seeing the memory usage and get charts of that, which we collect and store in the database over time, which is very useful. With the health scanner that I mentioned before is a good idea to enable. We can see various things. So we collect data on a regular basis. If you enable the health scanner as it is right now out of the box with OpenEdge, then you just see health scanner details at a moment in time. We collect that over time. We have some schedulers built in that are collecting that, and that allows us to do various things like see trends, but also be able to set up alerts or set up custom actions that can be performed based on certain settings and metrics. We can manage session memory on agents and sessions, and we're going to look at that in more detail. And as I mentioned, we can maintain the contents of the OpenEdge properties file. So one of the things you can do apart from managing all these things is you can also use it for troubleshooting. And if we have time, we will go through that. And otherwise, it'll be part of a more detailed demo that we will do at a later stage. But using the various tools that are available from OpenEdge, but that we've extended in some ways, we can use dynamic object tracing at runtime, and together with that to find leaked memory leaks and leaked objects in memory and work with those, try and identify what's going on there. We can use server-side profiling and enable that. That's something that we've added into the stack. And we can also, as part of our overall troubleshooting and keeping the whole system healthy and well functioning, we can schedule various things to either get details from the health scanner, to check get checks on metrics and so on from the OpenEdge manager, and with that also do various things. We also have a lot of things around some auditing, so we can see what is going on, who's performed specific actions on the system, and we will see all that as part of the demo in a bit. So with that, very, very quick run through, very high level. Now we need to get into the nitty-gritty details. And Arturus, I'm going to hand over to you to show us the details.
Do you see my screen?
Not yet, no. Now we see it.
You see the login page, right?
I see the Teams screen. So now we're not seeing. Here we go.
Do you see logins?
Now I can see the ProDiscoverer login screen. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So
yep.
Let's log in. And here we have instances organized in groups. I call them environments. Actual environments we can understand as a group of servers. Here we have two environments as example, demo test. Then under environments, we can have number of hosts. Here we have two hosts, demo and devel ProDiscoverer, and each host might run number of PASOE instances. In this example, we have in demo environment OE PAS1, OE PAS2. In test, we have ProDiscoverer instance running. And in each of the PAS instance, we might have a number of ABL web applications deployed. To navigate, we can either use quick search buttons if we want to find something. We have left-hand side navigation bar. We have PAS instances overview, where we have the navigate from there, and we have a dashboard showing the health of PAS instances. Actually, we have a ping calls, and if ping to the PAS instance is successful, we see the green light. So what we can see on the environment level? On the environment level, we can see hosts, and we can see the configuration of each host, and we can do some actions. I think we can talk about them later. On level 1 level down, we see the ABL applications. Here we have ABL applications listed under the PASOE instance. We can see the alerts which are generated by health scanner. We can see the health scanner probes which were executed automatically in scheduled manner, and we can see actions which were taken on that specific PASOE instance. If we have enabled a health scanner on the PASOE instance which we monitor, we can see the charts of various probes based on the health scanner configuration for that PASOE instance. We can filter based on the number of hours we want to see, and have an instant view in the default page, into the default view of health scanner checks.
Arturos, the chart you were showing before, where we see, for example, the Tomcat health over time, and you're seeing here, this is the chart for the last 24 hours. That is data that you wouldn't normally not be able to see, because it's not collected anywhere. You need to, but when the health scanner is installed on PASOE, you need to ping and get that data, and part of what the setup is doing here is pinging that on a regular basis. Is it every minute, or how frequently are we?
So now it is set up as to ping up every 60 seconds. You can change settings in the setup for each PASOE instance. I will show that later where it's configurable. But currently, yes, 1 minute.
Okay.
But
yep.
You can change it at any time. Then we go and actions. What we can view metrics here for PASOE instance. Quantitative and qualitative, dependent what we said in what we set in the OpenEdge.properties file. We can reset metrics. We can view properties of ABL application. We can see, and we can execute recycle agents, which we will show later, a bit later. And then the next level further, we have the ABL application level. And here we see the multi-session agents with these sessions. We see ABL sessions, we see requests, connections, thread metrics. We can run performance profiling. requests, we can see HTTP client sessions. Now is here. Maybe I will pick up a bit more loaded as instance. We have some client sessions here. We can.
So the reason why the other screen was empty was you were looking at a PAS instance that was basically not busy. It was not doing anything.
Yes.
And the one we're looking at here is the actual PAS instance. That is part of the ProDiscoverer application. So this one's a little more busy. Yeah.
Yes, we can see the active requests with the details of this request, and we can get from that active request which it is a client session with the details of the client. We can see ABL session stack trace, persistent procedures, objects, call stack, and if any databases connections, so we can investigate here. Also, we can check which ABL session it is running. We can.
So these are details for the ABL session that this particular request is running in.
Yes. We can see agent requests details, and we can also see if we enable, as an example, we want to enable ABL objects tracking. If we do this, we see the additional grid with ABL objects per ABL session. And now if you go to active request, we see all the ABL objects which are present in our requests per active request connection with the ABL objects. If there are any memory leaks, it's useful information to see are objects accumulating per request. If we have memory leak, yesterday usually you can view that number of objects increases. That probably might point to something that is accumulating in the memory, which might be something related to memory leak. We can see the agent's memory charts again per agent, per ABL sessions. We can limit it to number of hours.
So how is this information available, Arturas?
This information is we sending OE managed requests to the monitored PAS instance for the application, and responses are stored in the local ProDiscoverer PostgreSQL database, from where we can bring the charts to a view. We can see the actions. For example, the last action I did was set ABL object tracking to true. We can see all the details, what was done, and whom and when.
But the actions is basically an audit table. This is showing all the actions that have been performed and who they've been performed by on this particular instance in this particular view here. So in that way, we have full audit tracing on what is being done, whether it's the system doing it or whether it is a user that is triggering something, which is very useful.
Yes, we have a set of actions: add agent, reset agent's idle sessions, update ABL application properties, meaning update OE manager.properties parameters. We can reset, we can recycle it, and all these actions are logged into the audit table, and we can review it per specific application, or we can go to the general view of audit to see all the actions that were taken from ProDiscoverer to the monitored PAS instances. We can run find leaks. For example, if we collected information actually we have extended information in PASOE instance agent log file. We have enabled dynamic object tracing. We have to increase logging level per parameters. We have to save these parameters, and if we have lower runtime updates enabled, everything will be updated. Our changes will be updated dynamically, so no need to restart or stop as instance. And then we run our test procedures. We got this extended information to our agent's log file, and then we can, if it's locally, we can select from the local location. If it's remote, we have to download first this agent log file, and we can scan the agent log file, and we see the results. Number of objects leaked, for example, in this case, test procedure leaked 500 objects by creating them and not deleting. If we want to see the details, what was it that we can save and open. And here we have the procedure, line number of the object, and the type of the object.
So this is interacting because you're on a local system. This is interacting with local files on the, so you can access the log files and get them parsed by the system by uploading them here. You can pick them up from your PC. If you have them on remote PAS instances, you would need to log on to a server and fetch those. Part of our roadmap is to be able to pick up the log files remotely so that they get picked up by ProDiscoverer and you can access that. But that's how you would do that at the moment. Arturos, I think one of the key features here is the ability to be able to change the. So you've just shown a way to, for example, check for memory leaks or to see the effects of some run that you're doing on your PAS instance. But really one of the key things also with the being able to change the properties file at runtime is that you can then use that to, without having to log in and stop a PAS instance, you can dynamically go in, either temporarily make some changes, see the effects of it, and in that way find out what are the best, but you can use it as part of a troubleshooting, but also as part of tuning your application in that PAS instance to the optimum setting. So whether it's the number of agents or it's startup parameters or some other things that you need to adjust, you can do that from here directly and have that then kick in straight away. And that makes it nice and easy to both adjust, optimize, tune, and troubleshoot on your environments.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So there's a lot of information on here. We can see that there's a lot of agents going on here. We can see that it's using some memory also. What kind of controls do we have to interact with if we want to, let's say we want to clean up because it's using too much memory, or we need to reset for various reasons to reset our PAS instance or our PAS agents, and what is happening inside those agents?
We have various levels of that. We have the most simple is reset idle sessions for the specific agent. Then if you go up, we can reset the idle sessions for all agents running for that APL application. Then we can automatically recycle agent. That means we based on the OpenEdge.properties max agent's property value. We can run the process, which based on that parameter value will create a new one, sphere, one MS agent, and then delete the old one. This process is running gracefully, and all the ABL, all the HTTP client requests are transferred from the old multi-session agent to the sphere one, which is created with this process, and by this we're reducing session memory usage.
So Arturas, when you do this recycle of agents, this is a combination of, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but what is happening under the covers is that we're using the APIs, the OE Manager APIs, to first of all, spin up another agent if we can, based on the OpenEdge properties files, what the max agents are. But we spin up a new, so we make sure we always have a fresh agent available, and then cycle through the running agents and basically execute a stop statement for them that will gracefully stop them. And the multi-session agent manager on PAS will, as part of that process, it will transfer any running sessions from those agents to a fresh agent that is available. And in that way, end users don't lose connectivity to the application. So in this way, it's a safe way at runtime to be able to trim your agents and reset memory usage, reset caches and other things without any downtime, which you would typically otherwise be doing either through a script or you would be stopping and starting your PAS instance to achieve the same thing. Is that correct?
Yes, this is correct, and you can do this at various levels. The deepest level is per ABL application. Then you can do the same action for the selected PAS instance, for the selected ABL application from here, a bit in the upper level, and you can do at the host level for all PAS instances which runs under this host recycle agents. You have two options: either to run it in batch mode or either to run it in verbose mode, which means you will be asked for confirmation for each of the instance. And
basically, sorry, Arturas, so that means that if you have multiple PAS instances on the same host, now this particular setup doesn't show that, but if you have multiple PAS instances on the same host, you would then, instead of having to go and click on each one of them to recycle agents, you would just be able to issue a command where ProDiscoverer will then for you go out and recycle the agents on all the PAS instances that we have registered in the system for that particular host.
Actually, we can show we have a demo environment which has two PAS instances, and let's see the memory consumption. Agent's memory, it's very low, and for the next one, it's above 60 megabytes of the memory currently is used with the jump when the procedure with leaked object was run. So for example, if you want to recycle agents, let's say we have more than two number of instances running, we can go even to either to host level and perform recycle agents, but also we have another option to go to environment level, go to recycle agents tab, and here we have filtering options by substring. We can filter by customers, hosts, PAS names, ABL application names, run verbose or run batch mode. And what is most important here, we have the threshold for session memory, meaning that if now we have the 0, all the agents will be recycled in this environment, matching the filter criteria. But if we want to, let's say, limit recyclings only for some instances which are over threshold, we can put here. For example, we had bit above 60 megabytes, so we can put here
so 50.
70. If we put 50, then we will recycle. Then we will not recycle this one, right? We will recycle the one which is over 60. With 70, we will not recycle at all. For example, we can, if we now submit, we see that no actions were taken. And if we go to as instances for actions, we don't see here any actions taken on this PAS instances. By the way, we have also events menu where we see that all the actions taken in filtered way with the time interval in hours limited for everything that goes from the ProDiscoverer dashboard. So let's say we want to recycle, Thomas, you wanted 50.
Yeah.
Okay, let's submit.
That didn't do anything either. But let's check and see what the memory is.
I think it did, but it did.
We can see on the time.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, it had to spend some time by recycling it.
Okay, you have a bit of a lag on the time, but it basically so it performed a stop agent first, and then it performed performed an add agent first, and then a stop agent. Yeah, so added a new agent and then stopped the old agent.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And because of the threshold, we recycled only for the first one with the memory, which session memory higher than the threshold limit. The second one is not affected. If we go to events, now we see the events here added for the.
So essentially what we're seeing here is we have another 2 actions that were performed within the last hour. And
now if we want to see to clean all, we keep the 0 for threshold, we run submit. And with a bit of luck, yes, with a bit of luck, we see that we have now recycled also the second one. And if we go to events, we see that the 4 more events were added to the events. Memory is dropped, but because of recycle agents functionality, we adding and deleting all on. We don't see the deleted agents metrics, so it started afresh. Same with the second PAS instance. So these metrics showing what happened with the status of the current agent running. If we go to the not recycled PAS instance with the AVL application, we will see the longer time scale.
Okay, so this is so what we've just gone through is recycling agents. You can also do a slightly softer one where you just recycle the session, so you keep the agent running. Now, there are a number of reasons why. If we just take why would you be recycling agents? We've talked about memory usage as one of them. There may be so we have customers that are using it where they because there is an active memory leak in the application that is still being investigated, that's still being tracked down. But to reduce memory usage, because excessive memory usage can have all sorts of different effects, but especially on, say, a Kubernetes environment where you have a lot of instances running, then if you've got excessive memory usage, you've got a lot of unnecessary costs also. So that would be one reason for recycling your agents. Any other reasons that where you would want to do this whilst the application is running?
One of the reasons to not restart the whole PASOE instance if you want to refresh agents cache, for example, for testers when they do testing and do tests of various ABL code modifications for the application. At least this is what testers are using in our live environment.
Or you could have some application caching, that is, so data caching that is being cached by the agents and that needs to be reset in some way. Now that's an architectural discussion whether that's a good idea or not, but that's a very real challenge that we see, and in some cases. So this is actually one of the situations where we quite often see consultants and support people using the recycle agents, is they can go into a customer environment where maybe some basic configuration settings have been changed, or some new setup has been done. It needs to be applied, and it doesn't automatically get picked up at runtime. And in that situation, being able to do recycle agents is very useful. It's a cheap thing to do, but it's a safe thing to do. And by giving supporters and consultants on your teams access to be able to do this from ProDiscoverer, it saves more technical people the time and the effort of having to go in and do that for them to be able to stop and restart an instance. So, Arturos, does that mean that if we set up users that everybody can just access everything, or do we have some ways of setting up users and being able to then limit who can we set it up on a granular basis so that we can manage which users have access to which instances to work with?
Yes, we have the user's property on the PASOE instance, and we can put either as here the asterisk to allow all the users for that PASOE instance, either only, example, if without asterisk, the comma separate list of users. And there is two more levels of access rights. The admin user can access all, and there is also a super user who has even more rights as a regular admin user.
Okay.
This all is done into your setup.
But what you can then also do is you can also give people basically they get read-only access, so they can go in and see and look at what's going on, but they won't know. You can limit who can do, for example, recycle agents, so that in that way you don't. You only give people that you trust should be able to do that. Give them access. Having said that, as we've mentioned a couple of times, it is a safe thing to be doing because we're not losing connectivity. The system is gracefully handling these recycling of agents, so it's not in that way a destructive thing where your end users either get kicked off or lose access, or you have ongoing transactions that suddenly disappear.
Yep. And one feature worth mentioning, we have job scheduling functionality. We have two types of job: simple interval jobs, we can set in the setup per PASOE instance and per ABL application, and we can also have cron type jobs running the way cron daemon works. So with these jobs, we can, based on our setup for per PASOE instance, we can arrange what we want to achieve in which intervals, for example, to collect OE manager metrics, to collect health scanner metrics, to clean up idle ABL sessions, either per interval, either at a cron job syntax set, and then we the starting scheduler, and all these changes are picked up, and we have the scheduled jobs running and reporting these metrics to the storing to the background PostgreSQL database, from which all the statistics, all the charts, all the audits, all the other history related information are picked up.
So essentially what we can do then is you can set up various types of scheduled jobs, and in that way you could have some specific instances, PASOE instances that for some reason need to have either an hourly agent recycle because you've got something really bad going on in your code on the back end, or you want to have a schedule that keeps basically keeps an eye on the memory usage and then triggers a recycle at that time. And in this way, you can use it to, in a more sort of self-healing manner, be able to then manage and repair or to keep the system optimized. Maybe resetting or recycling the agents is not the long-term correct thing to be doing on a regular basis on a particular instance, but it may be a way of mitigating in the shorter term memory leaks or other performance challenges that you have. But in this way, instead of people having to go in and monitor and actually manually trigger it, we can then put in the scheduled events to happen for you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, we only have a couple of minutes left, so there's a lot more details that we need to cover or that we can cover, but we will do that in some follow-up sessions as well. So on the sort of at the tail end of this, are there some super important things that you want to highlight, Artūras?
I think the main features are highlighted. Of course, there are details. There are some more grained information once we use the system, but on top, in general view, I think we covered most of them. Maybe some are left, but time is also running out.
Yeah.
Let's leave it for the next sessions and maybe split into the.
All right, good. So that was really the purpose of this particular webinar, was to give a brief introduction into what is ProDiscoverer, how can you use it, some of the features. One of the other demos that we do sometimes is to show how we could do them in more detail, the memory leak detection that Artūras very briefly covered on, and we will do that in a separate session, so when we have more time to do that and more time for questions and for diving into the details on that. So if you want to see more details on specific features or functionality or have specific use cases, then reach out to us and let us know, and we can then schedule that either as a private demo session, or we can add it to our webinar series as a topic to cover. Yeah, Artūras, should I just pick up very quickly, unless you have anything extra to say, then I am just going to share my screen, which we're doing here, and then we're not going to go into a lot of detail around licensing. If anybody wants to know more about licensing, then reach out to us, and we can have that conversation. Same about the roadmap and what's going on in ProDiscoverer. That is a separate topic also. For now, I think the most important thing is to say that there is a website for ProDiscoverer, ProDiscoverer.com, where you can pick up information about and have a look and see some more information. There's some links to some demos as well. There is a documentation site also that has full documentation on all the features we've talked about. If you want to do a more detailed demo, reach out to us and we can arrange that with you. You have our email details at the start of the presentation. And if you want to set up and have a trial to try out, then we provide a 30-day free trial for people to try it out and kick the tires on the system and see whether it is a fit for your challenges in managing your Progress application service for OpenEdge.